Hello, everybody. This is Peter Karenge again. Thank you very much for listening in. As mentioned, this year I've determined to do at least 50 of these videos, and basically about three things. First, sharing information, sharing relationships, but also sharing experience and knowledge as it comes. So today, I'd like to talk about losing sight of the shore and some of the opportunities and some of the relationships that come out of that. There is a famous French Nobel, I can't remember his name, but basically what these gentlemen say is you cannot discover new oceans unless you lose sight of the shore. You cannot discover new oceans unless you lose sight of the shore. And the shore doesn't have to be you leaving the country. No, you can be in Moranga and you're doing very, very well. It doesn't have to mean even leaving your village. It's more of a mental. Sometimes it may mean doing that, but it's more of a mental, just getting out of your safe zone. That's what he was talking about. He wasn't talking necessarily about going abroad. And you lose sight of the shore by doing things that actually scare you. Pursuits that are not very comfortable. Pursuits that you could lose. That people will laugh at you. So just going straight to the opportunity and trend and be as specific as possible is working with governments. Yes, later we'll talk on the lower scale, we'll talk about consolidation, but just starting with big, working with governments, working with the Kenyan government as a contractor or entrepreneur or as an individual or as a consultant, or the same thing, working with the US government as an entrepreneur, as a consultant, or as an individual. And there are many ways of doing this. There are many ways of doing this, but the main thing is if you're determined to go big, you have to go to the bigger clients. And let no one lie to you. The biggest spenders are governments. I remember when I told my dad that I'm thinking our Moi's time was crazy. For those of you guys who graduated during Moi's time, could hardly find work even after 7 years of work. And I told my dad, I can't find a job, and the jobs I'm getting, I'm not getting paid. So I'd like to go and try and play tennis. And I play tennis. I play tennis and coach tennis. And that's he blessed me. But eventually he asked me, so how is this going? How is this going? And I was like, no, it's not going badly. Actually, I may be they're considering me for Davis Cup captain. But he was like, and maybe going to South Africa. He was like, but if you're going to leave home, go to where you have the largest government, the largest spender in the world, and go to the center, and that's how I found myself in DC. And that being the case, I'd like to talk about working with the US government as a contractor. The US government spends almost $500 billion every year. $500 billion. A lot of that is spent here in the US, but also a lot of it is spent abroad, in Africa, in various areas. It's just the same way the Kenyan government spends. But I'll talk about working with the Kenyan government later. And there are a couple of ways of working, of tapping into this. And I'm very excited. I noticed the IFC, which is the private arm of the World Bank, I believe it was last week, has invested in equity. I believe they bought right now 6.7% share. So equity, this is one of our the most robust bank in Kenya is working with the US government. So why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you do that? Why shouldn't you do the same? And yes, equity is big, but there are other smaller ways, and I'll talk a bit about them today. So a couple of ways. One of the easiest ways is as a consultant. I actually just tweeted go to my Twitter page. I just tweeted an opportunity to work with the US government as a supply specialist. Or if you can go to my Facebook page, Peter Karenge Ng'ang'a, you'll see one of those opportunities. This is working with one of the agencies. It's one of the easiest ways as a consultant with the agencies, and you can either work directly or you can work through a company like ours, B360. We're actually hiring for that position. And when we hire for that position, you'll be our employee. But many a times you transition into the US government itself. The other way you can work with the US government is being a subcontractor. So approaching a company like our company, B360 or B360 Investment or whoever, and finding out which opportunities that we are either currently pursuing, but most of the time it's opportunities that are actually on the business development process. So, and it's not difficult. It's not difficult. It's not easy, but it basically entails being part of a team and us figuring out how do we hunt together. How do we hunt together these opportunities? The last way is you can go directly to the US government or the agencies, and those opportunities you'll find them on sam.gov. But even on the lower hanging fruit, this is actually an opportunity which just recently came up, whereby KEPSA Kenya, for those of you guys who know KEPSA is the Kenya Private Sector Association. KEPSA Kenya has signed an MOU or an agreement with an organization called CCA here in the US. I was their rep myself and a gentleman called Sam. And of course Caro Karaoke, the CEO of KEPSA. And so what we're doing is threefold. You know, first we are seeking opportunities on the US-Kenya space that SMEs, small businesses. These are businesses, some of them that Juakali businesses would be interested working in the US. It can be on the cottage industry, like probably selling curios and smaller items, or it can be as large as exporting apparels. You know? But also it's also working with these SMEs, these Kenyan and US SMEs, basically to seek pursuits on US government agencies. So basically, if you want to learn more about that, you want to go to KEPSA_Kenya at Twitter or even on their Facebook page and see the details of that specific opportunity. And finally, it's just organizations coming together, US and organizations coming together to figure out ways that these two countries can work together. So I've talked about a couple of opportunities. First was opportunities working with the US government, but also opportunities working with the Kenyan government as it interfaces or engages with US companies. And for that, I'll talk about more specifically about that when it comes to KEPSA Kenya. It's a beautiful initiative. The ceremony was actually presided by President Uhuru Kenyatta here in New York. It's a great opportunity. You want to reach out to KEPSA. Yes, there's a membership fee, but I think it's something like 1,000 Kenya shillings, and that gets into KEPSA and gets you to gives you access to opportunities such as this. So 2022, leave sight of the ocean, discover new oceans, leave sight of the shore. You know, and I know in Kikuyu or that one who doesn't travel thinks only his mother can cook. Our moms are the best cooks in the world, but there are some pretty good cooks out there. You know, some pretty good cooks out there. Thank you very much. See you guys. Karenge. Today I'm in DC. It's a bit snowy, but you know, we are not complaining. God bless.